All right, music fans and truth seekers and weather geeks, welcome. Harmless me here, talking about Hurricane Milty, Hurricane Milton coming this way. And doing this in real time, recording this in the morning hours of October 9th, 2024. And I will just probably upload this right away. Who knows how much time I have as far as the power is concerned, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose power. I mean, I'd be shocked if I didn't lose power. No pun intended there. So just my own people have been asking me, sending me all kinds of messages, really just concerned. First of all, thankfully, I live in a very sturdy, secure location. All right. My house has been fortified between the last storm and this one, the insurance company, the public adjuster. It was a long process, but most of that was done earlier this year, thank God, which includes a roof and hurricane windows and hurricane doors capable of sustaining 160-mile-per-hour winds. So, by the way, currently that is the top sustained wind that Milty is producing right now. So that's scary. I want to talk though about this storm, and you can call me a crazy kook, and maybe it's just me talking about stuff and thinking out loud, but a bunch of patrons have said the same thing to me. Maybe because we're all like-minded and we don't trust anybody in the government. Why should you trust? Can I ask people this question? Do you really trust people in the government these days to tell you the truth about anything? They can't even tell you the truth about the economy. They make up economic numbers and then the following month they have to revise them. Why would they be somebody that you would trust? The current presidential candidate for the Democrats told Lester Holt that the border was secure a couple of years ago. The border is secure. She repeated it a number of times. The border is secure. When they just lie to you, what do? You just pretend, oh, they didn't say that. And then the media tries to somehow prop up the lies and say, oh, yeah, you're misrepresenting the facts. Border crossings are down. Yeah, but the border is not secure. The border is that people are coming in here from all over the place who shouldn't be here. And some of those people are on terrorist watch lists, okay? Not to mention all the criminals that they are letting out of jails and sending them here. It's a true statement. Donald Trump says it all the time. People just ignore it. They're not sending our best. He said that when he came down the escalator and gave that speech. It's they're not sending our. That's not that far fetched. They haven't been sending their best for quite some time. And he did say there are a lot of good people that are trying to escape tyranny to come here so they can eventually experience a new kind of tyranny. So I don't know. It's a cycle, but the point I'm trying to make here is that why would you trust the government on hurricanes? And here's something that I noticed, other than the Mayorkas statement, which I talked about a couple of days ago, where he said another storm is definitely hitting. That's what he said, definitely hitting, and he had no idea there was no Hurricane Milton at that point, but he said definitely hitting because you don't know where a hurricane could form. You don't know if it's going to hit the U.S. mainland, but he was pretty certain. That doesn't raise a few red flags from all of you trust the news media people out here? Come on. He knew in advance. Um, but the even the weather forecasters are they don't have a grasp on this. I am within the cone of uncertainty. I'm on the very southern fringe of it. But that cone keeps going south. Ian did the same thing. They said, yeah, it's probably going to go to Tampa. Guess what? It seems to be kind of like creeping, like the track gets a little further south, which is really bad news for me. Now, Ian, we lost power for 2 days, which was a picnic compared to Hurricane Irma, where we lost power for 2 weeks. And Irma was at least where I live, Irma was like I saw telephone poles that had fallen onto the roadway and all that metal stuff on the top where the power lines go through. That stuff was crashed on the road and was like shattered in all kinds of pieces all over the place. I had never seen that in my adult life. I'd never seen it in my young life either. Never seen it ever. And I'm like, wow, what did that? I mean, that's a powerful storm. Um, I think the people on the coast are in big trouble, big trouble in this storm. I'm talking about Sanibel, Cape Coral, Matlacha, all of the areas here in Southwest Florida. Um, Fort Myers Beach. God love those people because they love their beach, they love their island, they keep going back there, and I don't know if you build on that island anymore. I just don't know. I'm sure people will, but you're going to hear about stuff that is apocalyptic. That's my prediction. Going all the way up into population areas, Sarasota County, Manatee County. I mean, it's rough. Charlotte County, all of these counties are going to take a beating like they've never taken a beating before. 160-mile-an-hour winds still. This is what I'm trying to focus on. I keep going off on tangents. They told me, or us, that wind speeds would start coming down. They have not started coming down. They have maintained. Now, at one point, this was 180, right? After the juice was added, it was 180. And whether that juice is just the warm ocean waters or some other concoction, I don't know. But they said atmospherically, this can't produce more energy than it did at that moment. It had maxed out. It was at max capacity of what it could do. So that is interesting. That should be examined. When people say stuff like that, they're giving you a hint, like Mayorkas saying, "Yeah, we're definitely out of money, and we got another hurricane hitting, and we didn't have a hurricane at the time." And I referenced that quote from LBJ from the '60s when he said, "Whoever controls the weather controls the world." Um, and why would you talk like that? Why would you say that out loud? Um, it doesn't appear though that anybody is connecting any of these dots. The narrative is it's climate change. I get it. I can see why people would think that. You've got super warm weather all the time. Florida was very warm this year, as it normally is since I've been here. And these water temperatures are higher than they typically are. Okay. But what was a pretty quiet hurricane season. Now, Helene came in, didn't hit directly where I am. And again, it took a long time for this hurricane season to get cranked up. Toward the peak of the season, it started to kick in. You got hurricanes out now, in the open ocean waters as well. But where this hurricane formed and its path, these are unprecedented things. How this developed, and so I don't know. Maybe it's just all the way it's supposed to be. Maybe this is once every 100, 200 years you get something like this. But the frequency of it's a once in a lifetime storm. Irma was once in a lifetime. Ian was once in a lifetime. It's not. This will be what, 3 times in a lifetime. And if you put Helene in there, it'll be 4. And some people have lived through Andrew and some other storms down here. Charlie was another one, just went right into Punta Gorda, Florida, was supposed to go to Tampa. All these storms are always supposed to go to Tampa, and they never make it to Tampa for some reason. So we could get into the politics of people who live in Tampa versus the politics. I would like to think that my fellow human beings, if they're capable of doing something like that they wouldn't do something like that. But then again, human nature, the sin nature, which is in every human being. Um, you just can't say no. How do you say no? No, no one would ever do something like that. And this goes back to the trust issue. Do you trust these people? Do you trust the weather service? Oh, don't worry. It's gonna. Well, they're not saying, they never said don't worry, but they did say that wind speeds would come down and that this wouldn't be, basically like a category 6 when it got here. It'd be more like a category 3. Well, now they're saying at least a category 4. And there's a good chance that it may hit as a category 5. And if that happens and it's less than 70 miles from where I live, I probably won't be doing videos for a while. So just be aware of that. I mean, DeSantis does a great job with infrastructure, and he's got linemen, like thousands of linemen positioned up and down the west coast of Florida right now. So, if anybody can get the power back on quickly, it's Governor DeSantis and his team for sure. So I'm hopeful there. But, if I'm not doing videos, I might be able to do a video from my phone and upload through 5G. That's a slow process, and it would just be to show the devastation and destruction. I may post some stuff later on from the backyard, uh, just because I have a retention pond back there that has filled up quite a bit, and it looks a little bit like an ocean today. It's pretty interesting. So anyway, devastation, absolute devastation, unless this thing somehow just fizzles, but it's too close now. It can't do anything too fizzle-ish right now. It's too close. I mean, it'd be a miracle. It'd be like God saying, no, I don't want this hurricane to hit all these people again. Um, Remember, the reason hurricanes exist and all of this turmoil in the atmosphere exists is because we ruined creation at the beginning. And the atmosphere prior to the flood was completely different. After the flood, all kinds of nefarious weather was a normal part of the earth. But prior to that, it wasn't, according to the Bible. And I essentially believe even the weird stuff that people don't want to believe in, like the stuff that happened in Genesis chapter 6. Nobody wants to talk about that. But, after the flood, things changed, and we are still living in a post-flood Earth, which, again, the atmosphere is filled with storms and things that are unfair and mudslides and unexplainable weather events that destroy lives and kill people, and it's horrible. It's horrible. But you know, we're a fallen bunch, and if you think I'm just blaming the weather on mankind, that's the only theory I got. God can do what he wants to do with this, and right now we've got one of the worst hurricanes I've seen, and it's still a number of hours from hitting me here. The winds are already picking up, and it's dark and nasty outside. So, pray for the people along the coastline that they get out if they haven't gotten out. They don't have a lot of time left. That they heed these warnings. This is so serious. They're talking 15-foot, 20-foot storm surge in some places. This is not going to be good. This is just not good. You're going to be hearing about this for years, unless, again, it fizzles out. But there's little chance it's going to fizzle. In fact, I think it's going to come in at a higher strength than what they've been saying. And I get a little ticked off when they say, "Oh, wind shear is definitely going to happen. The dry air is coming into it. It's going to weaken." Hasn't weakened. Looks pretty healthy out there on the satellite. So pray for people. Pray for people you don't know. Pray for people who may not take this seriously, that they get rescued and they don't die in this storm. Um, I don't know. It's a job for somebody who likes to pray a lot, pray without ceasing. And have shot a bunch of prayers out today, and I'll continue to pray for all those in harm's way. Uh, I think my family should be safe through this storm. I would say about a 90% chance we'll be fine, maybe even a little higher than that. We're hunkering down. We got the water, we got the supplies. So, again, this is in God's hands. I want to thank everybody who supports this channel, Patreon, YouTube memberships, Buy Me a Coffee. Getting a lot of encouraging messages through Buy Me a Coffee still. So I appreciate that way of communication. As far as, what this channel has been dealing with as far as the trolling, uh, I don't know. I don't know. Especially in moments like this, you think to yourself, does that stuff doesn't matter. It's just say what you're going to say. All right. Some things are so much more important than me having an opinion about music. It's actually getting stupid at this point. That just even talking about music almost feels like frivolous when we've got a planet to try to save. We've got humanity to try to save. God has a mission for each and every one of us, and we're supposed to take up that mantle and do what he asks us to do because he wants none to perish. So, anyway, folks, that's my take on a whole bunch of different topics. I want to thank everybody again for the support. God bless everyone. The whole stay safe thing, when someone says to stay safe, I know that's a nice way of communicating a message like that, but everybody's going to be hunkered down. So I don't know if that's the appropriate message. Stay optimistic, uh, stay filled with the Spirit, stay plugged into God during this time frame. I think those are better and stronger messages. The safety, it should be up to each individual to make good decisions so they're not put into harm's way.